we'll start. Can everybody hear me okay out there? Okay, perfect. Welcome to the pharmaceutical and medical devices panel discussion. We've only got a half hour here, so maybe we just jump into it. As you can see, our panel has shrunk, but we've got the hardcore people here with Janetta and Tomasz. Maybe you guys could introduce yourselves, Tomasz?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tomasz. What I'm doing for the last decade or so, I'm building the AR teams within the new shared service centers in Poland, Warsaw. So far, I did 4 of them. And yeah, that's what I'm doing for the last decade or so, going through transitions, stabilizations, standardizations. Right now I work for Stryker. We just finalized our transitions this year, having a brand new center based in Warsaw. And yeah, that's it. Over to you, Janeta.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everyone. I'm Janeta Hlinková. I'm part of the Medtronic company, which is the American MedTech devices one. And I'm Senior Credit Services Manager, which means I'm taking care of all the AR teams which are based in our Medtronic Business Service Center in Prague. So we are having ML Center of Expertise for cash application, credit and collection, ML credit risk team, then enabling team, and we are doing also a bit of North America operation for cash application and dispute team. I'm in the finance for more than 17 years, and with the Medtronic, actually I will be soon celebrating 15 years, so it's been a bunch of years.
Okay. I'm David Wilner. Worked in the healthcare sector, medical devices for over 30 years. I left 3 years ago. I was working at Medtronic. My last position there was as the Senior Director of Customer Financial Services, responsible for the Americas, so US, Latin America, and Canada. Previous to that, a lot of my roles were international based, so a lot of experience working with hospitals, distributors, selling, worrying about the AR. And as we jump into the first topic here, we're looking at the public hospitals, the private hospitals and distributors in Europe all face unique challenges, and how do we cope with late-paying public sector and the risk around private hospitals and small distributors. And what instigated this question for me was we started talking about this panel discussion in early summer, I think, this year. And in May of this year in the US, a group of hospitals, Steward Healthcare, filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It was a group of 31 hospitals. Largest privately held hospital group in America, never would release any financial information to suppliers. They went bankrupt May 6th, May 7th, around that time. And they were always a big problem for me at Medtronic when I was working there. They were kind of, I don't want to say sleazy. After they filed bankruptcy, the governor of Massachusetts said, this is just it's greed, mismanagement, and a lack of transparency there. A lot of debt out there for these guys. So at the top of the creditors list, we saw the Change Healthcare, this group that would do, payroll and all sorts of payments for AP stuff for them. Were hit with $71 million of open receivables. Philips had $50 million. Medline, one of the top distributors in the U.S., $43 million. My former company, Janetta's company, $24.7 million. I'm glad I wasn't sitting in that seat I was sitting in 3 years ago when that hit. I don't know if any of you guys in the audience have been hit with it, the feeling in your stomach when you're hit with a bankruptcy and you're holding that amount of debt. Becton Dickinson, 15 million. Zimmer, 8.3. You guys at Stryker, 8.1. Abbott, 8 million. GE, 7.6 million. And even their auditors, PwC, wrote 6 million. And it's a mess trying to divest these hospitals, sell these hospitals. The governments are all involved. Just terrible. And this is like a worst case scenario. So the question to the panel, and I know you guys aren't responsible for anything that happens in the US, but Europe certainly presents its own challenges. How do you cope with the late payments actually from the public sector, and talk about how you're assessing risk for the private hospitals throughout the region and distributors as well?
Yeah. So thank you for those numbers. I'm always surprised how people who are no longer with the companies or are coming from the outside are coming up with the numbers, and I'm always like, yeah, good, okay, I don't remember that. But you're right. I've checked the Medline, and it's actually our top one distributor with the highest number of open disputes for the resolution, and I have some colleagues here who are taking care of it. But come back to your question and go to the more, I would say, positive note. I have to admit that through the time, it's getting improved a little bit, so it's not that bad. In terms of the medtech industry and late payments. But we still need to watch out and close more the working capital, ensure that we secure the free cash flow, and we are doing the things what we do in the whole AR process, first thing right, on time, and with a good quality. And if I go to specifically to public customer sector, this is the one which is for us as a medtech company the one with the lowest risk, and we try to mitigate this risk with the close contact with the commercial teams and ensure that when they make tenders, then they watch carefully what is the cost of the capitals, what are the margins, what they put in there, and with order entry team also that the orders are really processed like first time right, and if they make, the commercial team, any special agreements, then we fulfill them really on time with the good quality. And maybe you're thinking, okay, how you do that? So we have more people actually in the company working and supporting from collection team, this public customers. And we are trying still to do a lot of face-to-face visit, because this is what helps more than ever. If you come to see your public customer and you do the handshake, and then in 1 week you can have money on your account. So this is what helping in a public sector. And before I go to private, not sure if Tomáš would like to also comment the public one from his perspective.
Yeah, the public sector is like a different animal.
Yeah.
Indeed, the risk is lower. However, you need to knock the doors of public hospitals quite loud.
Correct.
To make sure that you are first in the queue when they're going to get the funds from the government, right?
Yeah, so we need to ensure we go there before Stryker.
And indeed, this relationship that you mentioned is crucial. That's why we do have as well our local reps in those countries to visit hospitals to make sure that the relationship is there. And involving the commercial team is very important as well, because I think that's the key of the success, like having a strong, close relationship with public institutions that will give you that you're going to get this money eventually.
And I think, Stryker and Medtronic are both very shared service center focused with collections, and you guys have actually moved some collections outside of the shared service center. But for certain countries in Europe, Italy, Spain, Portugal, maybe Greece, it's important to have Turkey, it's important to have people on the ground there. It's not something that you can transition completely the collections into a centralized location. You need that. You really do need that local touch.
And that's true. That's actually the model what we currently have. So we have a center of expertise for EMEA region based in Prague, when we have a people who we need to ensure that they retain the knowledge and the system and everything, and they are kind of gatekeeper for the process. But at the same time, we have a BPO partner where we move to them certain portfolio out of this one, but we still have quite a big team based in countries to take care about those customers and do those face-to-face visits, handshake and everything what is needed to ensure we have a payments. And when it's quarter end coming, we are even trying to go there more often or pick up the phone and call and let's say, our quarter end is coming, maybe not yours, but can you do us a favor and can you pay us a bit earlier? So that's how we are trying to secure our free cash flow.
What is as well very important once you get those local people within the country is to make sure that they are not left alone, right? That they are feeling that they are part of a bigger team, that they get someone else in Prague or in Warsaw to talk to maintain their relationship with those local reps. Yeah, that's true. On the other hand, I have to admit that being the bridge, being in the center of expertise between the BPO and the in-country teams, it's not an easy.
Yeah, another aspect of, I think, especially in the slow-paying regions of Southern Europe with these public hospital groups is the importance of making sure your accounts are reconciled, because some of this debt can go out there for months and months, even over a year in some cases. Yeah. And when funds are finally released, it's a sad reality if you haven't reconciled the account that you've gotten paid a lot less than what's on your books. So it's really pretty important to have a strong process in place to make sure that everybody's agreeing with your balances.
Yeah. And in terms of customer reconciliation, I can say that this is one of the areas where we are trying to hopefully incorporate the artificial intelligence and make some automation and automatic matches in it, so we can minimize the minimal effort, minimize the effort of the collectors, and really so they have time to spend more with the customers or over the phone or whatever is needed, and not really like deep dive into the customer reconciliation where some of the things can be automated. So this is one of our future projects, what we would like to focus on.
Okay. Now how about the private hospital groups out there? Is there any special care that you take around these groups in terms of assessing credit risk? Are you more aggressive on collections?
Yeah, of course. We're looking more carefully into the private sector, and especially what you see right now in Europe, the situation is changing as well. The bigger number of insolvency cases in Germany, that's something what we observed recently. So definitely the private sector, this is like the more risky one, right? So we are very often putting our shipments on hold because there is not enough credit or we're not getting payments on time. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, in our case, that's the, I would say, medium risk group category. And these one are the good one to have more in countries rather than a majority move to BPO. So they are watched carefully by our in-country teams. And for this one, what we did, we come up with a collection strategy in EMA region a few years ago. And we need to watch out that if there is any risk in late payments, that we really do regular review more than for the public sector, and really there is first call, then the second call, and what should happen before you do third call, and then some escalation path and dunning ladder. So these are more on the work list of our collectors.
I find sometimes, that it was not completely clear whether a hospital was private or public, especially in a place like Italy, where they would term some hospitals as semi-public, and trying to figure out what the risk exposure was out there. And it's kind of gets back to that know your customer, right? You really need to be drilling down and have knowledge of how they're being funded.
I would say for Italy, in Medtronic's case, it's such a I would say, sensitive case that the majority, like 96% of the accounts are covered by our Italian colleagues, not by BPO. Only 4% we dare to outsource and try, okay, how it's going to go or not, but yeah.
Okay. How about distributors? The distributor base in
distributors, that's the highest risk one.
Okay.
For us, because there are low margins, very often extended terms, but it's for the market when we unfortunately cannot have any other option than have a distributor. So what we do, that we again try to communicate with our commercial team and ensure that it's clear what and when will be paid in what payment run. And we added into collection strategy for distributors more escalation paths, so we got the red flag earlier than for any other portfolio. And if they are really like top risky one, we send even a letter of credit to manage any potential risk. But the distributors, we are trying to make, I would say, have them as less as possible. But in some countries, you cannot do business without distributors.
Right, compliance risks. And I know, Thomas, we were talking about distributor challenges, especially in the Middle East, for you guys in Turkey as well, North Africa. You want to talk about your approach there?
Yeah, and this is the same, like Soneta said, we need to stay very close with the commercial team, especially for those regions like Middle East, Turkey, South Africa. So those are the countries where we work pretty close with our sales, and this is the concept that we introduce as well as a new shared service center that we meet on a regular basis together with sales team, with customer service, and with finance. Those are how I call them triangular meetings, which involves like 3 departments working together to collect money.
In my experience with the distributors in emerging markets or riskier regions, one of the key partnerships, collaboration, I think the credit department should have is with the compliance team at your companies, because there's all sorts of compliance hidden risks that the credit folks don't see. So what I would see, especially in Latin America, in Brazil, for example, the compliance team would come to me and say, hey, this customer is potentially doing some things. We're internally investigating this company. And it would always be a customer that was completely current, that was paying you on time. So, in regions where they're slow paying and somebody's paying on time, be suspicious as well. I mean, you always got to be thinking and suspicious, and treating your credit limit seriously there, right? Because the AR can be at risk even if they're not slow paying. If your company decides to stop dealing with a distributor, it's bad news. Another thing that I like to look at as a credit manager with distributors is how much of your product does a distributor carry? When I would go visit a distributor, I would like to see Stryker products in there, Medtronic products, Johnson & Johnson products. I want them to spread the pain a little bit. If I went in someplace and it was 90% Medtronic products, I knew I had a problem. I knew this was, we're married at this point, and if it ends, it's not going to end well. It's going to be a serious problem. So, know your customers. Any further comments on this topic?
No, I think we quite deep dive and make a hopefully clear summary for the audience.
I think we have a second question, but if there's the second discussion point. But does anybody have any questions right now around credit risk with hospitals, collection stuff? Okay. Topic number 2. What tools have been put in place over the last few years to help in collection efforts, cash application, and dispute resolutions? And what are some of the challenges of implementing new technologies? And we're talking about AI, robotics, third-party support. So, Tomasz?
So yesterday there was a session that our fantastic GPO, Francesca, had together with my DSO team. So this is the tool that we implemented 2 years ago for Europe. And it's been great. Like, that was the best thing that has happened to I2C because it kind of forced us to standardize our collection process. It helped us a lot when it comes to reduction of aged items and so on. So this is the tool that we're using. And we're expanding. We're still like adding new things to the tool and introducing to globally now. But for EMEA, yeah, that's the main tool that we use right now. On top of that, we've got some other initiatives, some other automations which we built outside of the tool, like RPAs you mentioned here. But yeah, my DSO, this is the main platform which our collectors use. And not only collectors, because we're expanding my DSO as well to other departments within Stryker. So this year we have opened that to our customer service team for the dispute resolution process. We're expanding that as well to the sales team, encouraging our sales agents to log there and to see what kind of invoices are outstanding for the hospitals. There is as well this nice feature of the portal that our customers can actually go by themselves and log to the website and see their statement of account. So that's more or less what we're doing now.
Before you implemented My DSO, was there a budget in place for a third-party provider to come in, or was that something that you really had to sell to management to buy the tool?
Yeah, that was before my time, so I think that's a good question to Francesca, right? But like Francesca mentioned yesterday, if you have a good business case, I think that the budget will be fine. And the beauty of My DSO is this simplicity that you just connect it and it doesn't require a lot of effort, especially from the IT side.
Yeah. In Medtronic case, as a part of the Global Credit Service Organization, we are using the AI to log and automate the dispute resolution. And on the, I believe yesterday workshop, I spoke that we are using the Copilot to help anybody who's interested to record the notes and put some summary and everything, so you don't need to, facilitate the call. Even if you are talking with the customer, you don't need to make notes immediately to your SAP dispute log, and you can make a pilot to help you with. Or we are also using internally our own, like Medtronic ChatGPT, to help us if we need to come up with some summary or advice. Or we are now testing it to try to connect this to our collection work instructions or SOP. So if some of my colleagues or anyone within the Medtronic is having any question, hopefully at one point they won't be contacting us and they will try to use this to get their answers. And maybe I would like to encourage you in, I think, 45 minutes or so to join one of our session where my colleague Janina Vranč and Claudia Montes will be talking about our journey where we come up with the customer portal, which we did internally. We didn't buy any solution, and this was one of the internal initiatives what we have, how to optimize the finance and O2C process what we have.
Where do you see the technology going in the next few years? Do you have a wish list of what you want? Some capabilities that you would expect from new technology?
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot in the last 3 days, right? What are the trends on the market? I was pretty amazed with those bots that actually make the calls to our customers. So I'm very curious how this kind of technology will evolve.
We were talking about that last night a little bit, whether that would work in the industry or not, and things around how do you prevent those calls from being identified as spam and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating discussion.
Yeah. In my case, I remember the first day when the panelists were mentioning, like, let's not wait for the IT. If you have any option, let's go for it. I can tell you it's true. We are also seeing some obstacles with IT. They are super busy or it's too expensive, even though it's internal team. So we are having our own enabling team here based in Prague, who's currently helping the whole global credit services team. We have even demand from any other team who's connected to AR that this team would bring some new automation, dashboard and solutions. So we are trying to really, whenever the technology allows, to test the demo, and our guys are trying to upskill themselves and play with the solution and figure it out that it would if it would have any positive impact to our credit services area or not. And currently we are having like 5 years roadmap of what we can do and how to go for hyper automation solutions which are behind the doors. So definitely watch out point, I would say, from my perspective.
I think you had a really good point in there, Janetta, when you talk about leveraging some of the local knowledge and expertise in there, because both of you work for US-based companies that probably have a very difficult IT network at the top. And I know at Medtronic we were lucky to have someone like Andre that would think outside the box, to use a cliche, but come up with solutions internally that were great.
So we are trying to have more people like that, even who are based in here in Prague, or now nowadays when everything goes global, we are collaborating with other regions to find out, okay, is there any talent? Is there somebody who would like to learn, I don't know, SQL, Python, whatever AI during their free time and bring something back to our Medtronic family? So these are the things what we are doing to move on and catch the train or stay ahead of the train.
Yeah, I remember back in the early we would have to do things underneath the IT teams to get things done. Just kind of bureaucratic. I think we've got about 5 minutes left, 3 minutes left. We're open to any questions from the audience. No questions? Okay, well, we're going to be one of the rare sessions that ends earlier on time. So I want to thank you guys all for attending. Hopefully you got some useful information.
Yeah,
cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.